Well, I'll move us over to the map screen. Not that there's much. Well, congratulations, Brain. You stalled on the first word. Let's try that again. When we last left our adventurers, an uncomfortable night's sleep had been had underground. The smell of iron stung your noses, but sleep you did, a long-needed rest for some, fuel upon the fire of frustration for others. Although... Shit. Oh, there we go. Although none happened, some celebration was in order. A persistent problem had been sorted, for the time being. The night hag who had haunted Nyx's dreams and coveted her soul was sent back to whatever plane she calls home. The knowledge of a long and painful process of being reborn ahead of her was passed on to you by an acquaintance, Casimir. The vampire of Yondala, who helped for their own personal vendetta to rid you of this night hag, also gave you a warning that the Lich's forces would never rest. Now you are a target. With this warning and advice to take it in your stride, the group's attention turns to Highever. The urgency of this, however, has caused rifts in the party. As one walks off, two stand their ground, and the last one stands torn between them. The conduit stands divided. Can amends be made?
Oh, I like that last line. That was very poetic.
I do try sometimes. I say, thinking back to my intro for Thursday session, where I literally just spat out every single thing they did in as fast as possible way.
Okay.
That one was more humorous, though.
Right, so last I remember it, I managed to convince Ray to just hold on for a second while we rushed off to the
Yeah, I believe the deal was one more temple, but
Yes.
I can't wait much longer.
I believe you told Ray and Vincent to go to a tavern whilst you went and followed Nyx.
Yeah.
That's about right.
Yes.
I will do my own investigation.
Oh dear.
So, what do you guys do, I guess?
We're heading off to the temple.
Well, Nyx is storming off. Eryn
I
is
am
now chasing after.
Chasing, yes.
Vincent and Ray? You heading to a tavern or doing your own thing around town?
Yeah. Go. Yeah, I'll go to a tavern, I think. I'll just go see if I can find a tavern.
Yeah,
Alright.
me too. I need a drink.
So, Ray and Vincent go off for some morning drinking.
The best kind.
But of course. So you slowly weave your way through town, making your way back in towards the main city, towards the taverns, which you know. And this is actually probably what everyone hears, just as they're casually walking or striding with purpose through town. Far to the northeastern side of town, you just hear sort of the occasional loud thuds of heavy impacts into earth. But no one in the town seems to be that alarmed, or no one's rushing to battle stations, and guards are just casually walking the streets, winding their way between individuals, keeping an eye on things. Ray and Vincent? No, yes, I almost... God damn it, my brain's stalling. I had an entire day of learning shit. I went to lessons again. Yay! As you do wind your way through town, find yourself back at a familiar tavern. As you enter, you are greeted warmly, and drinks are offered.
And swiftly taken.
But of course. Right, Nyx, what are you doing?
Well, I guess the thing I decided I was gonna do, I've stormed off.
Have I caught up, or...?
Give her some time to storm off.
Okay.
I'm gonna try and find Talia, since I neglected her and I miss that. I miss these people.
All right. for the sake of it, roll an investigation check.
And I'm no longer at disadvantage, right?
You are no longer at disadvantage.
Doesn't make a difference.
You do, however, roll a 10. Okay,
Yay!
in your somewhat grumpy state, you're not thinking too much about it and just walking and walking and walking. And you find that you're heading towards the center, or what you know as the center of town yet again. You have the... Shit, I've forgotten the name of it. The Crystal Arcanum, where the Crystal Arcanum and the Temple to Ioun and the library are residing. You do know that the Crystal Arcanum acts essentially as a part university, but also part of the government. It's kind of like central.
Okay. I understand. I understand the reference.
It's sort of like a it's sort of like a governmental building which leases out its rooms for the points of lecturing, more than a lecture hall which happens to have a governmental building in it. If that makes sense.
God.
But as you're making your way there, Eryn does catch up with you, and you're sort of in your own little world, and you suddenly feel a hand upon your shoulder. And as you glance up at Eryn, he's sort of pulling you back slightly. And as you glance around, you notice that walking along the street, you both notice that walking along the street, there is a number, probably about 7 or so elves, making their way in from the northwestern part of town, actually, so the same direction which the loud thuddings are coming from. But what is unusual about them is they are, first of all, wearing armor and carrying weapons, akin to what you would expect adventurers to be wearing, although none of them wear metal. All of them appear to be wearing some form of leather armor. And probably the weirder thing is that they're accompanied by a couple of creatures. 3 to be specific. A rather large, weird mix of a bear and owl. A dark black, rather large cat. And last but not least, I have to remind myself exactly what this creature looks like. But it's essentially like a large... it's like a very large oxen mixed with woolly mammoth.
Are they wearing like traditionally elvish kind of armor, or is it just your standard adventure?
It does appear to be more elvish. More elvish. It does appear to be elven in make.
Okay.
The armor. And they are sort of making their way through town. They look a bit haggard. They appear to be heading in the same direction that you were mindlessly heading in. And people are quite quickly parting away in front of them, mainly because they have a panther and an owlbear with them. Kind of something you don't want to stand in the way of.
I'm looking on concern.
They continued their way through, not really taking notice of anyone. And if you're curious, this is what the creature looks like.
Oh, cool.
You're so fluffy.
It is very fluffy.
Next, shall we keep going?
What do you mean, keep going?
As in, whatever direction you are headed in.
I don't actually know. I was just walking.
You're going towards Talia.
I don't know where the fuck Talia is. Wait, it's Talia.
What was the
name of that
plan?
student?
I'm not there, sorry.
Okay.
Go on.
Well, do you know where the nearest temple would be?
No. Can't go to... Wait. No.
We can't go to the Temple of Ioun.
Yeah, I've got kicked out again.
Yeah. They do not like us.
The Temple of Yondala didn't have any high priests, I don't believe.
No.
So that just leaves one.
Okay,
Wait. You can just.
let's go there.
I could. There's not much point really.
What do you mean?
Who knows if they even have another high priest there? It's not common for high priests. It's not easy magic.
What does Nyx look like right now? What's her expression on her face?
It's kind of a mix between blank and just desperately containing whatever emotions and she's feeling, just trying to hold them in place.
Classic Nyx.
Classic mix.
I'm just gonna like gently guide her to an alley, if there's one nearby, just away from the crowds around these alleys.
Yeah, there are alleys in a city. Some of them are quite small and packed full of brass pipes coming out of either of the buildings. The alleyways clearly being there first, and then the houses to which these brass pipes extend from being an afterthought. Kind of pressing against one of them, you quickly draw away as it is rather warm. But it is an alleyway.
I'm going to go on one knee and kind of like, face her face. Sorry, I'm thinking what to say.
It's okay. Nyx is just refusing eye contact. Just looking past you.
I'm gonna like grab her shoulders gently. We just fought a very powerful being, and when you can see this is a little difficult for Eryn and me, but let's forget.
Oh.
When I saw that you looked better, I genuinely felt happy for you. And I don't want to give up now when you're so close to being like you were, you know? Even if they don't have a high priest, I promise you I will suck up my ego and I will walk into the Temple of Ioun and beg their forgiveness if it means getting rid of this shit that's been inside.
Eryn, it's not. Thanks. I guess. I mean, I don't know why. I'm glad she's gone. Really, I am. It was not a pleasant experience, and I mean, there's loads of temples we could go to eventually, but that's not the problem. I I'm I'm glad that you're. I mean, thank you for your never-ending kindness. I know it's difficult at times, but it means a lot. Okay. Just. I don't know if I even should. I don't know if I should be here. Just there's things I needed to do and wanted to do, and then we all got together and it was great. It was nice being part of a group again, and it it doesn't feel right anymore. Does that... No, it doesn't make sense.
No, I think I understand what you're saying, but I've told you before many times that we as a group, we need you to carry on. But I think right now, what's more important is, I think we all, including Ray, I think deep down, we I think we want you as part of the group. I think I'd genuinely miss you if you left.
I'd miss you as well, Eryn. Even if you are a little stubborn at times, but...
I know that sometimes in life you have to turn to a new chapter and say goodbye to the things of the past. So if you do want to depart, that is your choice. I can't, tell you otherwise. But I really want you to stay. Please.
It's not about, for me, I guess, it's not about being needed or wanted or feeling like I'm useful or helpful, because, like that, I know that. I just feels like lately you're the only one that gave a damn, I guess. And it just didn't feel fair. I wanted so badly a group of people I could put everything into, could give everything to, and to get it in return as well, and I realized that was my bad. I shouldn't have forced so much. Just shouldn't have forced that kind of dynamic, I guess. Especially when I should have paid more attention when you guys were pissed about me giving up my own life force to help you guys out, or I don't know. I don't feel like this is the kind of group I need. I feel like if I keep sticking around, we're just gonna keep bashing heads. Because I know we've bumped head a few times with regards to the gods, but they're so important to me. Just is all I had, and yet I feel like that means nothing. Like that's just not important. Like, I know Ray's upset about home, but like I know we've been ignoring the problem. Because it's scary. It's a massive fucking powerful lich with a big army of undead, and it's not fair to take out that hate on us, though. Just because she's upset with herself doesn't mean she has to be a dick to the rest of us.
The way that I see it, Ray and even Vincent are quite young. They have a lot ahead of them, but they don't know how to deal with what's behind them. I think, I don't know. I know that Ray semi-recently, received a sort of message from her mother, and it affected her a lot. And I know that she's trying to deal with that. And what you're saying is right. You know, sometimes she's taking out that frustration on the rest of the group. You know, deep down in her heart, I know she does care. And I think we've just got to remind ourselves of that. Because given time, I think that I hope that it will all work. I think given time, people learn to deal with these things. I don't know if I'm helping. Am I helping?
No. Thanks for trying, at least.
It's okay. I say just give it time. These young whippersnappers, they don't appreciate the passing of time.
So much time has passed. So little changes, though. I think I'll go home for a bit, maybe. To Draken up, I mean. Where? I feel like I've been neglecting a lot of the duties I was meant to keep up.
If you're actually going to, and you can see he's like proper sad.
No, Nick's is sad too.
If you're actually going to go, just talk to the other two first before you do. Please.
I feel like Ray will chew my head off again. And I'll probably chew hers off.
For me. Oh, sorry.
Eryn.
I give her a very awkward force. And like these weird puppy dog eyes.
Fuck. Fine. Got 5 minutes. God damn you.
Thank you. I'm just gonna give her a quick hug.
Only because it's you. You know that?
Yep.
Speaking of the other characters, Ray, Vincent, you're sat at the bar. It would be the bear shifter barmaid.
Yes, it would.
As you're serving your drinks, she sort of leans onto the bar and goes, "So, haven't seen you guys around? Got any interesting stories?"
Far too many.
Care to share?
Yeah, please. Vincent.
What? Why didn't you tell them you were there?
I wasn't really paying attention. Besides, you're the storyteller.
Can I just say that I regale her with many stories of our epic adventures?
No.
No, because I don't want to just talk for half an hour while everyone else is just sat here.
Embellish it.
I mean, that's what we've been doing.
That's what
I
they
would
did.
definitely yeah, for like 5 minutes.
So Vincent starts. You know what, Vincent? Just make a straight charisma check.
Will do.
You're good at this. Come on.
+3.
Let's go.
Okay, so as you are regaling these stories of some of your adventures, leaving out some of the less fortunate and less interesting, and spicing them up a little bit just to retain attention, you see that the barmaid is actually listening attentively, although still somewhat although still serving the other folk. There's a few people who are sort of gathering around you now and sort of listening in. And as you finish one of your latest tales, one of them leans in and goes, "It's quite a tale, but I don't think it can top what I've heard recently."
It was a good tale. There's slightly less sex, slightly more drinking blood, but that's Vincent's way of seeing the world, I guess.
Sometimes they happened at the same time.
Avoiding that subject.
And
you can see the like slightly flustered, turning ever so slightly red. Apparently, this isn't a subject he normally talks about.
And I
What?
hardly think anyone in this town has anything that can compete with that in terms of entertainment.
Well, you may be right, but this ain't from this town. Some of the soldiers from across the Elven Forest. Some of their stories are beginning to get higher. Interesting ones. Interesting. And, sends a shiver down your spine. They say, as the two armies were maneuvering, combat just beginning, cavalry clashing with infantry, the smell of blood thick in the air. The sounds of the war horns and the war cries drew the attention of something they probably didn't want to disturb. The ancient white dragon, most commonly known as Andoril, the Frozen Conquest, he moved from atop his mountain. The war definitely got his attention. Now, for those who escaped, they say the only thing which remains of that battlefield is ice and frozen people. Elves, humans, a few dwarfs. The soldiers which were lucky enough to escape are giving some strange stories. And apparently a lot of them did escape. For the battle was understandably interrupted, and I don't think anyone particularly wanted to continue fighting whilst a giant white dragon was eating them all. However, a few tales have reached us of when this dragon descended and started its chaos. A single elf stood his ground to confront this dragon, unwincing in the face of danger. They wore colours of neither side, and only appeared after its initial attack. A few people who were close to him, or claimed to be, said that he only said one thing: "Run, I shall hold them." Now apparently, hold them he did. For the vast majority of the armies who weren't near the original attack managed to make their way out. The elves still have an army, and there's still an army threatening their homes, just not from that front. How long he stood for? They don't know. But apparently, 2 minutes later, 2 dragons, their scales reflecting the sun, bathing the battlefield in warm golden light, came to fight. And they too engaged with the white dragon. Now, they also say that they only saw a white dragon flying away, and they never saw these 3 beings again. So, take down that what you will. No corpses either. Apparently some of them went back to look for some scales. That, my friends, is a tale.
Yeah, and some people think the sky is blue because we live in the eye of a giant, blue-eyed giant.
I never heard that one.
Yokels tell all kinds of stories. It was probably some overgrown wyvern. They had terribly boring lives and spend most of their time in taverns telling each other about their heroic acts of bravery. It's always some elf that saves the day.
Hey, no one's claiming to be the elf. If they had, I don't think they would be able to walk very far without getting mobbed.
Where did you say this was? Which armies?
The army's the other side of the, where is it? That elven town, across the forest. And he hears someone else go, "Mythwich!" And he goes, "That's the one. The battle which was being fought over there."
Sounds a bit like an adventure.
Might be worth
Yeah,
checking it
it
out. If nothing else, then to just get paid to dispel this myths of dragon.
Dragons are common, you know. Andron is real.
Yeah.
Sips
Everyone's
atop,
seen a dragon. Everyone's
sips atop
fought
the
a
mountain. There's a constant snowstorm surrounding it. No one can reach its peak. Not that you'd want to. You'd become dragon food. My half-cousin tried it once. Never heard from him again.
Sure, I didn't just fall.
No. I mean, well, he could have, but the point is, no one's got to the top of the mountain. And he just sort of sits down and crosses his arm in a bit of a huff that his story didn't go over quite as well as yours.
Look, it sounds cool, but every time we hear about a dragon, it's huge and powerful, and it destroys everything in front of it. And still, we're told
That's what
that
they
same
do.
story. Yeah, and then there's 200 survivors who tell the exact same story. I'm sorry, but if these dragons were half as dangerous as everyone says they were, then where are all these stories coming from?
Forgive him. He
Onlookers?
to tell the story. He doesn't
He actually
really
looks
like to
somewhat
listen.
stumped. He's not the smartest man.
Look, I'm sure this is the kind of job that myself and my associates could handle with relative ease. Is there someone who you can think of who might pay us to deal with this
I don't
dragon?
know. It's a country away.
Well, you've heard the stories. I'm sure you've heard stories of who's in charge. A king, a leader, some elf with the largest stick that we can talk.
I mean, that one sounds pretty accurate. I don't know the elves. I hardly know the gnomes, and I live in their bloody city. Dwarves are all right. They don't lie to you. You can tell a liar of them.
Yes. Perhaps we should go talk to the dwarves then. What do you think, Ray? Sounds like something you'd be up for?
As you guys sort of start talking to yourselves, some other people start shouting out their own stories.
What do you think? Is there any truth to that story?
I generally have no clue.
I mean, we did see something, right?
When?
That a while back when we were on our way here. We've seen
Did we?
dragons. It could be.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean I want to go find one.
Look, I don't think it'll be a dragon. I think it'll be some big bird or an overgrown wyvern. These people are always telling tales. And as far as I'm aware, if we can get paid to kill a dragon, and all we have to do is slay one wyvern, this could be big for us.
Yeah, but Mythwitch's in the opposite direction to However.
Yeah, but you still get to fight something. Know how you like to fight things. And go home with the tale of being a dragon slayer. That'll get you some points,
I mean, technically you guys are already.
technically.
I mean, they were babies, but you can leave that bit out.
This is true.
If you can go home with the head of a dragon, then who's gonna say you don't have any right to rule?
I don't want to rule.
You say that now, but if you were offered your own kingdom, armies at your disposal,
Believe me, However would never accept me as their leader.
Maybe they
Besides,
would've.
it's not a title that I want anyway. I just want to make sure my family is okay. I don't want to take over.
well, I'm sure they will be. Put it this way, you left. And I don't think they're going to be particularly happy that their only daughter left just to walk around with an elf, a dashingly handsome rogue, and a slightly strange, short creature. If you can bring back the head of a dragon, prove that your adventures were really worthwhile, then how can they be angry? You've saved a whole village, a whole country.
I don't care if they're angry. I just need to know if they're safe, and the only way to do that is to get back as soon as possible.
I mean, look, we could make a whistle-stop tour at your home and then straight to the dragon.
I like that.
I'm just saying, it's a possibility.
Also, we can't fight a dragon.
There won't be a dragon. That's the whole point. Be something
You were
much more
talking
manageable.
about me taking home the head of a dragon earlier.
Yeah, well, like I said before, the common folk don't really know the difference. We
Common
take a
folk.
wyvern, we take a wyvern, we cut its head off, we stick some big horns on it, and voila, you've got yourself a dragon. Look, we already have a few dragon scales and things like that. People will believe it. Clearly, everyone in this tavern believes it, and that's a story told by a bunch of half-drunken soldiers.
You're
I
just
don't know what
bitter
was going on.
because your story got outshone.
I don't think it did. I think the people in the room were far more into my story than that one.
Can I make an insight check on people in the room?
Certainly. It seems like what Vincent is saying has some truth to it. People were a lot more enthralled by his stories, although you get a feeling this may be because they are new stories and ones which they have not heard. And
Ooh, that's
also, well,
Look,
for some of them, they involved a lot of sex, so clearly some of the guys are going to be way more interested in it.
at the end of the day, we are, whether you like it or not, mercenaries. We work for pay. And unless you want to be scrubbing the halls of some low-ranking officer or official the rest of our lives, we're going to need to build ourselves a reputation. Reputation
Why
as dragon
can't I just
slayers.
go back home and resume my title as princess?
You could very well do that, but if that's the case, then why did you leave in the first place?
I don't want to get into that.
You don't want to be a princess, you want to be out here with us. Adventurous, making money, fame, fortune, the adoration of the common folk.
Alright, Vincent. I'll make you a deal. If you come with me to High Ever and make sure my family's safe, I'll go hunt down a dragon with you.
Oh, I'm definitely going to hire. I very much like places that have palaces. I just fit in so well. And there's so many nice things that no one seems to mind when they go missing.
Can I... No, never mind. I was going to insight check, but no need. You told the truth.
You were beginning to get suspicious, and then your suspicions were confirmed.
So smart.
It probably is about this time, which, if Eryn was escorting Nyx to the tavern, you guys would be reaching there.
I thought we were going to the temple.
Oh, are you going to the temple first?
The one that isn't the third temple that we haven't been to yet.
Yeah.
I can't remember who it's to, and I'm so sorry. We should probably.
Do you even... let's see. Where do you look for this temple?
Well,
I remember it being in the south of the town, I think.
hold up. I hopefully wrote it down.
What campaign was it? What campaign? What day was it? Do you
It was a few weeks ago now. God. Let me pull up my old digital notes.
For your information, session 32 was when you reached Fork.
Crap, I don't remember them.
The day of the 12th of the 11th, 18.
Oh, thank you. Doesn't look like I wrote it down.
Let's see. There's 3 temples. Oh, Gal Glitter Gold. Okay, where is it?
Let's go.
You could probably ask the DM.
I'm just curious, like, where'd you go looking for this temple?
Guess with the other temples?
Well, you got the Temple of Ioun, which is right next to the Crystal Arcanum, which is essentially the center of town. Temple of Yondala, which is to the southeastern part of the town.
Oh, that's the one I was thinking of, damn.
And that was the one that was essentially the greenhouse. You've been to the library, you've been to the greenhouse, you have not been to.
Have we passed it?
Is there a place that's quite has a oh god, how do I describe this? Is
Are
it
you
like a
trying to find a town map?
No.
Are there any signs anywhere?
Oh shit, right. Are there signs?
Are there signs?
I mean, there's signs, but no signs currently where you're standing, which says "Temple to Gal Glittergold. Follow this way."
Can I try and find a sign that says
All right,
that?
investigation check.
Both of us?
Oh
never.
my god!
All right. So as Eryn is wandering around trying to find these signs to the temple of Gal Glittergold, as you're sort of like pushing past a couple of gnomes to try and read one of the signs, try and make heads or tails out of it, you have to kind of crouch down because some of them are really low to the ground for the older parts of the city. You actually overhear two of them talking about it. Two of them talking, and from what you hear, you hear essentially a couple of things along the lines of prayers. It's sort of disjointed because the hustle bustle, you're trying to read and your ears sort of just pick up on some of the words, and then you start to listen in more and you don't quite catch most of the conversation, but you sort of hear prayers and Garglittergold's name mentioned, so you kind of perk up and listen in, and they are saying about having come from the western part of town, from the cut crystal.
Okay. I'm gonna just tell Nick.
All right, so you make your way across the one of the rivers into the western part of town, a somewhat newer part of the town, still made with the small and large buildings, the metal pipes, large and small, jutting out of houses at random. But the buildings feel slightly newer, slightly less burnt down, made out of slightly more. They're slightly more spaced apart, almost as if they knew that some residents would start building these metal pipes out, like the alleyways you can actually walk down, slightly more spread out, but still feeling just as. And as you make your way along and start looking for this temple, you do come across a shop, to which, hanging on its sign in Gnomish and in Common, it says the Cut Crystal. And as you glance in, it appears to be a jewelry's. Sorry, a jeweler's.
Why does the cut crystal sound familiar, but not familiar because we just heard it twice in a row now?
Probably because a lot of things in this town are named after crystals.
Probably.
Gnomes have a slight obsession with shiny.
Indeed they do.
Anyway, going on to the temple.
Right. So, can we see if is the temple nearby, or is this the temple? This probably is the temple, knowing Gal Glittergold.
Roll your perception check, Nix.
It's not a disadvantage.
I'm just scratching my head, looking
Well,
around for the temple.
There aren't any temples around here from what you can see.
Can I also roll a perception check?
Please do.
Certainly.
Oh boy. Maybe the shopkeeper in this here shop will know where it is.
We can ask, I guess. Sure, the shop is nice as well.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll go in the shop.
So you push open the door. It's a lot of the shop is like the front is essentially a lot of glass and display cases with all different sorts of jewelry, fine jewelry on display. You see different precious metals with different gems inset in them, and even with your limited arcane knowledge, both of you, you do recognize some of this as enchanted. However, as you enter the shop, a small gnome with very large glasses and essentially, I'm trying to remember who it is. Essentially glasses and then a load of additional lenses which they can flick down and up, which you assume is to allow them to work on more and more intricate, detailed stuff. Kind of stood behind the to the side of the counter and is apparently working on something. But as you push open the door, there's a little bell which goes ding, 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 ding. He sort of looks up and goes, welcome, fine couple. Is there anything I can get you guys?
What did you say?
We were.
Welcome, fine couple. Is there anything I can get you guys?
Oh, we're not.
Do you?
You're a couple of people, aren't you? And he sort of gives a sly smile.
Mm-hmm. We're looking for the temple to Garl Glitter Gold.
Oh,
Would you happen to know if that's in the vicinity?
yeah, it's very close by.
Is this it?
Oh, I can't tell you.
What? You can't tell us?
You guys are full of gnome.
Oh, of course it's the bloody temple. What can we do for you?
This is the temple?
Yeah.
Yeah,
God, glitter gold is.
a god of gem cutting
And gnomes.
to the exquisite. The fine works of metal.
Either.
Pure beauty in material form. What better place than a jeweler's? My fine establishment, might I?
In a very.
Count
Been in
me
my family
incorrect.
for quite a few generations now.
Oh wow.
Well, we were looking for anyone who would, by any chance, happen to have the spell that I've forgotten the name of that we would like to be cast on my.
Greater restoration.
Do pardon my language, but you do look a bit shit, dear.
Yeah, it's been a shit few weeks.
I like you.
Are you
gnomes.
what you need? A good laugh.
Oh no. I think I'm okay.
You sure?
Yeah.
Wait, hang on. Wait, what do you mean a good laugh?
I'm okay, thank you.
Laughter cures most things. Has a hard time curing death. Hard to laugh when you're dead.
Okay. How would you suggest we go about inducing laughter?
Don't ask me that.
I wouldn't
He
be
hops
the best
down,
person to
Walks
know.
over, looks up at Eryn, leans into Nyx and goes, he's a bit slow, this one.
Yeah, please don't be too mean to him.
Tell you what, friend. I have an idea. And he quickly goes behind the counter and you hear a drawer being unlocked, pulled open.
Can I just
Kind of walks over.
as he's doing I just want to say sorry guys, one second. How many gnomes does it take to change a light bulb?
Okay.
Uh,
How many?
I'd imagine they'd lose their balance before they can stack high enough to reach.
You just see this gnome's face look around the side of the counter as sort of pulling a what sort of face, kind of slide back and there we go, that's the key. And he walks out holding this ring. Fine and great joke teller. Can you kneel, you're a bit tall.
Oh, okay, all right.
Thank you. And as you kneel, he literally just grabs one of your hands and puts a ring on it. There we go.
Oh.
so
Stand,
cute.
stand back up!
Okay, yeah.
There we go. And now he just sort of grabs Nyx by the shoulders, walks her around, and then just spins around. And Nyx, in front of you, although it is Eryn, he now appears to have a very big, thick, bushy, flame red mustache. His eyebrows have just tripled in size and are hanging slightly over his eyes. His hair is now seemingly an afro with two ponytails coming out of either side. It is a very bizarre visage.
Why did the gnome cross the road?
You know, somehow I think him talking makes it worse.
Just doesn't match. It doesn't match. Eryn, you're on fire.
What?
You're on fire today, Eryn. Great jokes.
The
The gnome just kind of points to a mirror on the wall to your left.
He jumps when he sees himself.
Okay, you can give the ring back.
I quickly take the ring off.
The visage quickly disappears.
I pat myself down.
That's really cool.
Takes the ring back. That one's great at parties. Anyway, as you hear him kind of wander back and drop a ring back into and kind of pulls the keys out, and you hear a slight jangling and then nothing as he kind of wanders back, and you're not entirely sure where the keys have gone. Right, so yes, laughter. Yeah, no, it doesn't seem to have worked.
It was
Ah,
nice while it lasted, thank you. Well.
So you got anyone with a greater restoration?
It's
The god's magic works in somewhat mysterious ways.
amen to that.
Do you happen to have any gems on you?
I have
One
Yeah,
second.
mysterious ways indeed.
I believe I actually do have gems on me, and I'm just looking through.
I do. I have 3 gems
Ah.
worth 70 gold. I will pull out one of the 70 gold gems.
I have 3 crystals in the bag of holding, which I believe is on me. So I pull out the 3
Andrew will raise money as we established.
Or
Yeah.
1,000 something gold.
So yeah, I hold out the 3 gems. The 3 crystals.
Are they crystals or gems?
They are crystals, is what it says on my thing.
Are
Are those the
are they-
arcanely charged crystals which have a bad habit of exploding if you throw them?
Oh shit.
It's okay.
Well, he doesn't remember that.
So as you pull out these three purple glowing crystals, Nick sort of shoots you a look, and the guy sort of leans in and goes, "Yeah, no, I don't think I'm going to work with those."
No, Eryn, those explode, remember?
Okay.
He looks slightly more taken aback.
I put them back in.
I mean, the first one exploded because we cracked it, but you know, I have a gem in my bag. Here we go.
He takes what I believe was a bloodstone, wasn't it?
Was it?
As in, it was a black sort of onyx with flakes of like red in it.
Yes, it was. I just
And
have,
so it
I
takes
just
the
have it
gem
written
and
down
goes-
as 3 gems worth 70 gold. I think it was.
He takes one of them and sort of looks it over and goes, it'll do. And kind of wanders back. This might take a wee bit of time. I think I have a setting around here somewhere. And you hear slightly more scraping as he rummages through another drawer, pulls out a sort of... Actually, you can't see it. He just pulls something out. Drawer closes, makes his way back up to the top, and kind of sits on his stool. Several lenses click down into place without him even touching it. And he just starts to work and then sort of looks up, his eyes greatly magnified now, looking very out of place as he locks eyes with both of you and goes, feel free to take a seat.
Okay.
If there's a chair around, I assume it's gnome
Yeah.
size.
No, there are 2 gnome-sized chairs and 1 regular-sized chair with a stool next to it, presumably for him to get up and then to essentially assess jewellery on people.
Cool, I'm going to sit on the normal chair.
Why do I imagine Eryn trying to sit on the gnome chair?
Oh, 100%. Me too.
One of those little kitty chairs.
Pretty much. You know, like knees up to the chin, sort of looking around slightly awkward. Anyway.
Like Gandalf in the Hobbit house.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, don't mind me. So, probably about 5 minutes pass as you essentially see him working away with jeweler's tools. And before he eventually goes, right, I think that should do it. And as he picks up what now appears to be quite a beautifully crafted golden pendant with about 6 diamonds jeweled, sorry, not in jeweled, like sort of studded with and inset within this pendant with the bloodstone newly shaped. It's now sort of more brought into, I don't want to say it, not like a diamond, but you know, it's more like a kite with like sharp edges placed in the center around these sort of 6 diamonds. Well, it's somewhat small in size, but and it appears to be a pendant which would hang from a necklace. Pretty, maybe about palm size for this gnome, so pretty decently sized. As he sort of picks it up, goes, yeah, I think that would do. Kind of looks around, just grabs a sort of small necklace chain. Wanders over to you, Nix, as he's sort of threading the pendant onto it, and then without warning, just puts it on around your neck. Right, I'll be having that back as payment, but for the he sort of rubs his hands together, closes his eyes. One of them sort of opens to look at you two to see if you're staring at him.
Oh.
We are.
I close my eyes as well then.
He sort of notices you're closing your eyes, relaxes slightly, looks at Eryn, and then seems to tense slightly, closes his eyes, and goes, "Look, I haven't done this in a while."
Oh, okay. I'm gonna
And
cover my eyes.
he starts muttering in Gnomish, to which Nix you do understand, and it's a series of short prayers, essentially given towards Garl. One of them does mention the trick the trick which was played on Eryn,
Yeah.
an effort to appease. And as you're sort of listening to these mutterings, you do feel a sort of pulse through your body, and you can't help but giggle slightly.
God.
And then the giggling sort of gets louder, and it's now becoming more and more hysterical, to the point where you are struggling, your sides are splitting as you are just laughing. And Eryn, I would assume at this point you're sort of just staring at her.
Yeah, wide-eyed.
And as you see her essentially laughing, almost doubled over, this pendant just hanging loosely from around her neck. It's glowing slightly, mostly the gold, the diamonds sort of glinting slightly. And as this happens, you notice these sort of scars and the cuts which have been refusing to heal from Nyx slowly fade back, leaving her regular skin.
Oh my god.
And as he comes to the end of the muttering of prayers, Nyx, the laughter just suddenly, goes. And you're sort of left clutching your sides, wondering what on earth was so funny.
That was kind of weird.
Right.
It was really freaking. What?
Also, your hit points have been restored. And as you're just stood there sort of confused, he wanders over, takes the necklace back off of you, and then goes, opens the display case, and puts it down in it. And then closes the display case.
Oh, well, you look.
Have a good day.
I don't usually ask this, but do you not need any payment for?
The stone is the payment.
Okay.
What?
I am a worker, in more ways than one, to my god. And the creating of such fine jewellery can act in a way as payment towards the casting of some of the more training spells.
Well,
Without them
thank
being
you.
destroyed.
And thanks, Mr. Glittergold, I guess.
I don't think he goes by Mister.
Oh,
Then again, never really spoken to him that much.
fair
Well, I
enough.
say that. He's never spoken back, so I don't really know his preference.
Okay, well,
Everyone's different.
okay. Right, well,
Eryn,
bye. Yep.
Didn't you want a ring like the one we found in with the dragons?
Oh, I mean, I don't think it really would have been of much use to me anyway.
I know, but
Do you have anything in here that would be good for an archer? I asked the guy.
Kind of looks you up and down and goes, well, I could make you look beautiful. And he sort of nods towards the desk where he put the ring back.
I'm fine, thank you. Thanks for your service. Don't worry about it, Nix, it's fine.
thank you.
He nods at you, Nix, and then he winks.
Oh no.
As you turn around, you notice that protruding from essentially behind Eryn, there appears to be just a faint sort of tiefling tail just twitching ever so slightly.
Oh my god. I love gnomes. Eryn does not.
I decided not to tell him.
Yeah, as we're walking out the shop, I'm gonna just scratch my head and say, you gnomes are a weird bunch.
Indeed they are. I'm still getting used to them myself sometimes.
And as Eryn walks along, the tail just sort of whips back and forward slightly, passing through his clothing and through some of the passers-by.
Oh my god.
That's pretty cool. That's really cool.
I guess we ought to find the other two.
Yeah. Sure. Let's head back.
What was that, Abby? You cut off.
Oh, I said, sure. Let's head back.
Right.
Alright, so you make your way back to the tavern.
Indeed we do.
I would say, considering the number of stories which Vincent told, they are probably coming to the end of that whole scenario. Maybe an additional drink afterwards.
Do I still have the tail?
It does disappear after about 5, 10.
Oh, sad.
Very cool.
So, you reach the tavern. A bit, as you sort of enter, it seems a bit more packed than before. You notice Ray and Vincent sat at the bar, and there's sort of a huddle of people sat slightly to the side of them, enthusiastically shouting out bird stories. At this point, it has escalated from dragons freezing entire battlefields to demons waging wars at the top of mountains to nymphs in the well to the center of town.
It's so popular.
So is Vincent just there, like 1 foot on like a chair and like, arms?
Yes.
Just regaling tale after tale with a somewhat enthralled audience.
That's fantastic.
He's never had such an enthusiastic audience before.
To be fair, it helps that they're somewhat drunk.
Hey, I have a +6 in performance.
Oh yeah, he's got them under wraps.
Nay,
I'm gonna
Yeah.
join the crowd.
big question. How long has it been since this campaign started? So, like,
Yeah.
from when we all met up.
Scroll. Okay, I'm gonna have to give you this in days because the weeks work weirdly.
Yeah, that's fine.
32 days.
Days.
It's about a month.
Yeah,
Dude,
about
we
a month.
don't know each other at all.
Yeah.
No. Oh no, shit.
Shit.
No. Since this one started, no, because you were Summer Lights Fest. Fuck, I forgot. Summer Lights Festival was partway through. Sorry. So it's been a month since the Summer Lights Festival. So since Neverwinter. So we would give that. When was it? Yeah, you started around the beginning of the summer. So add an additional. Shit, what's 217?
2 plus 17.
No, so 34. So you're looking at about 70 days.
Oh, okay. That's more. That's more.
Yeah,
like
about
sorry,
2.5
I forgot. I marked when the Summer Lights Festival was on the calendar, and I just completely blanked on when that wasn't the start point. No, you're talking
No
about
problem.
70 to 80 days,
Okay.
because it was essentially near the beginning of summer when you guys met, probably a couple of days in, and it is now nearing the end of the first lunar cycle of the. Hang on, shit. Spring, summer, autumn. There we go.
Cool.
I
Yeah,
do
I'm
have the
gonna-
entire date system set up now.
That's very cool.
I'm gonna join the crowd and kind of cross my arms, but have a little smirk. Like, oh, that's pretty impressive. But I'm not gonna say. Do I hear Vincent talking about any of his comrades at all in these stories, or is it just?
Oh no. There's brief mentions of there is brief mentions of what appears to be about 6 or 7 additional characters. There's apparently an archer who can never miss, and an archer who can do nothing but missing. You've got
Lewis,
you've
is this true?
No.
Sure, Lewis. What is involved in your stories then?
No, I'm joking. Yeah, that can be true. That's cool. I like that.
Essentially, he's personified the best and worst parts of you into 2 different people.
Yeah, he
He hasn't personified the worst parts of himself.
Okay.
They don't exist.
He is just the best. The charming leader.
Oh, God.
Devilish Rogue was brought together this band of merry fools and risen them up to something greater than themselves.
To be fair, I actually don't know how you guys met up because I came in just slightly later, so I don't know if you brought us together or not.
We literally just won.
They literally just got attacked and ended up being banded together. Yeah.
We
Okay,
just stuck with
fate.
I also briefly mentioned the cat that was with us that died that everyone forgot about.
Oh yeah.
I didn't forget about it.
Forgotten about him.
I may have briefly forgotten that. I literally thought about it, going, "Oh yeah, they only knew Maxine for like a month, and then he died."
Yeah, it wasn't a very long time,
Oh,
unfortunately.
Brief foray. It's a good tale though, because it shows the danger that we face on a daily basis
Yes.
Of course.
when we are out
Suicide.
saving the convoke.
Very dangerous,
Mm,
especially when on airship.
mm.
Right. Anyway,
Anyway, sidetracker.
so
Just all just
he
awkwardly avoiding
tells
each other.
he tells his stories.
Am I still telling my stories, or have I finished?
Vincent's probably one of the last great tales of Vincent has, and he seems somewhat, maybe slightly relieved to see you, Eryn, in the fact that he may have been beginning to run out of them.
Not
It's
really
fair.
been together that long.
And it's been quite a while since they came into the tavern.
Yeah.
They're a couple of rounds in. At least the onlookers are, although making the storytelling slightly easier. However, he pulls closed one more story, and there's a sort of bout of discussion which happens up, filling the tavern with some noise as a couple of others shout to the barmaid for drinks, which are gruffly not tossed, but like forcibly slid in their direction to the point where some of them sort of like catch it and wince as it's pushed along the bar.
I'm gonna lightly clap and Yeah. And clap Vincent on the shoulder and say, that was actually quite impressive.
Well, they always do well when they have a captive audience.
Mm.
How did your temple exploration go? I trust better than the last time.
I don't want to talk about it.
What's that supposed to mean? Can't have gone that badly.
Gnomes, man. I don't know. I don't even know what to say. Gnomes like their tricks.
Wait, quickly, insult Ouijas.
I'm sorry.
Insult Ouijas.
Ouijas is an okay god.
They didn't give you the Ray treatment as well, did they?
No. No, they didn't. No, okay. We walked in. It turns out it was a jewelry shop. And then he was like, oh, laughter is the best medicine. And I thought, yeah, sure, all right. And then he put a ring on me and I turned into something terrible. And Nyx pissed herself. The guy pissed himself. And yeah, now she's okay.
That's a story worth telling.
I guess, yeah.
Or is anyone listening in?
Not really. They're sort of like getting drinks, discussing
It's not the best
themselves, the
story.
latest tale.
Well,
So yeah, now it's all okay.
well, that was quite fast.
Yeah, no, gnomes are efficient, if any.
Yeah, I suppose they know what they're doing.
Where is Nyx?
I don't know. Didn't she come back with you?
Well, yeah. I was actually asking that like to myself, but whatever, it's fine.
Probably like
Okay.
awkwardly stood off to the side and maybe is in the middle of ordering some food actually. Or something. Just went off.
Yeah, the barmaid sort of leans over, nods, goes, right, I'll go put something on for you.
Thank you.
Probably going to be only bread and soup.
It's okay.
Nods and wanders off into the back kitchen.
I turned back to Vincent. My eyebrows were huge. Like huge. And I had oh god, I had facial hair. Such a human thing to have. No offense.
None taken. I would hate if I was turned into an elf.
Mm,
But at least you got things cleared up.
yes.
Meanwhile, we were not just telling stories, but hearing them too.
Oh really?
Apparently, there's some sort of dragon in one of the countries nearby that's been causing problems. I assume it's just the local talk, the peasants have to get up to something to pass the time, but might be worth checking in on. There could be some money in it, and by my best guess, it's probably just some overgrown wyvern.
What, you think they were upping it a little bit?
Yeah, well, they're soldiers. They go to war. They get shocked. They see things. They run away. They need a good excuse. They can't just say that they ran away from a big lizard. It has to be a dragon. It's always a dragon.
Hang on. So we could slay a wyvern and get money's worth for a dragon?
This is my thought exactly.
Are you kidding me? That's
Well-
insane. That's like a huge amount of money, right? Right?
I mean, I've got to imagine so. I mean, look at how much we've been paid to do far less. I think
Yeah. I think you're
the only
onto something.
catch is that Ray wants us to go back to her home first, but I'm fine with that as long as we do it quickly.
I suppose the dragon isn't going anywhere.
No. I doubt the thing exists at all, so it shouldn't be that important when we turn up.
Listen, I'll let Nyx do the talking, but she has some plans of her.
She always does. What's she thinking about now?
It's not really my place to say.
Okay. Well, I'll let her talk to us then.
Sure.
So that's because Nyx is just waiting for food.
Just casually sat there, drumming her fingers.
I'm entranced by the current storyteller.
It's just so blatantly ignoring each other.
Its tales about a swamp which comes to life at night and steals children.
Is that the swamp that maybe we passed a couple of times?
Quite possibly.
Is the storyteller cute?
Oh, God.
Not really. It's a somewhat day-drunk human who doesn't have a job, kind of on the large side, sort of. Do you also notice that he is actually like one of his arms is essentially like, well, he's missing his hand, and then part of the, I'm trying to remember what that bone is called. Slightly
Femur,
above his wrist. It's
tibia.
slightly above his wrist that's being cut off.
Ooh, nasty.
On the sort of
The
right hand side. And
born storyteller, Ben.
I was gonna say he's not exactly attractive. It's it's an all right story.
I'm still entranced.
Well, I'd like to say that I told a far more interesting story.
Right, but you forget that I was there, so I know it wasn't true.
Yeah, but like, this guy has no finesse.
I don't know,
It's
he
rather insulting.
lost the hand. You haven't lost a hand. He's full of stories, I bet.
I mean, all I'm hearing is that I'm just better at what I do than he is.
What's he actually saying?
It's a badly told story, but you think with the right storyteller, it could actually make a pretty decent story. It's just he stops. He sort of has to think of his words, kind of ums and ers. Doesn't quite have a good flow going.
Yeah, you know what, I kind of agree with you.
Well, how about we don't hang around here too long. It's starting to get rather crowded.
Nyx, your soup and a small amount of bread is brought out. It appears to be it's a sort of creamy soup, potato leek perhaps,
That's a good soup. I've had that
with some bread on the side. It costs you 5 silver.
Oh, shit. Okay. Well, that's a lot more than I was expecting, but oh well. I have the money for it now, so I don't mind. Thank you.
She nods and goes to serve another drink to another patron.
Is it still early morning, or is it midday?
It's reaching around lunchtime now.
Okay.
It's an early lunch.
Okay.
I mean, if we have to go to Ray's home first, then surely we should be setting off sooner rather than later?
Probably, yeah.
I'm down for that.
Well,
As long as our temple business is all settled.
Yep.
I don't have anything else to do here.
Me neither.
So, how do we get there?
Well, it's your home. You know which way we should be going better than anyone.
I
I've
know
never
it's
been there
weird.
before.
It's a little far off, though.
The only way through the mountain is through Draconus. We can't go through
I mean,
Barrack Ridge, we'll have to go around. So,
you can go over the mountain, but there is a well-traveled trade path from Wild Shore to Draconath to Cliffkeep. The other ones are more trails.
we'll probably
There's a
need
trade
walking
path to
towards.
Brackeridge. There are mountain passes from it over the mountain, but they're not that commonly used.
Mhm.
They essentially get most of their trade with Fork. It also
So-
means Fork has a bit of a monopoly over them.
So, shall we take that path?
Fine by me.
Yeah, whichever way is easiest and fastest.
Let's get going then. We still got quite a bit of sunlight left.
Okay, I'll finish my food up.
If you've finished your food.
Done. I'll eat it.
It's a medium-sized meal, but you can drink the soup and eat the bread.
Let's do it.
No.
To Draconus, I guess.
I thought you weren't coming with us.
I'm staying in Draconus. You guys can make your way up to High Ever yourselves.
Fair enough.
I'd also
All
rather
right.
that you didn't visit any of the temples in Draconus whilst you're there.
I wasn't planning on it.
Good.
I can't promise anything.
I guess
I shift my feet a little.
With the tension at a lovely icy and crisp state, the party exits the tavern of Fork. Exits the tavern in Fork and proceeds to head out of Fork.
Ooh,
you
we'll be traveling on grassland.
You will. You
Yay!
will. That is a question. Are you going to go to Wild Shore and then head to Draconouth, or are you going to go more across the wilderness and sort of head for more sort of like that direction?
Probably that's faster, right? Especially because now I have my explorer thing in grassland.
With you now being quite skilled in grassland, yes, it will be faster.
Okay.
I don't want to go back to Wildshore.
It does
I
mean
would-
you want to avoid Wild Shore.
I turn to the group and I say, I would recommend just passing straight through the grassland. That's the quickest route to Drakenmouth. I'll make sure we don't get slowed down.
Alright, either way, grass boy.
Sorry.
He excels in weeding. I mean, what?
The grass kind.
Weeding. He excels at weeding. The path. In the grass. Yes, totally.
Oh my god, that's giving me a thought. Anyway, sorry.
God.
Carrying on. To the grass.
Okay, well, let's head on our way.
So you guys make your way out of Fork. As you do along the way, you encounter the same sort of people, well-robed individuals, sort of talking, exchanging, merchants flogging their wares. The odd street musician just playing on a corner. But you slowly make your way out of Fork, cross the river, and start making your way through some of the. You kind of have to go. You have to go a couple. You have to get like a mile or so away from the buildings before the a lot of the pens of animals sort of start to disappear, and you can start making your way off the beaten track towards, in a general straight line, of what you can see in the distance, the peaks of mountains. Yeah. So, do you just travel there?
Yeah.
Guess so.
Alrighty then. So, probably as you're traveling for probably 2-3 days, I need to figure out how long this is going to take you. Okay. It's going to take you about 10 days.
Okay.
But as you travel, stopping off each night to build camp, there are a few close encounters with a few wild animals. This is grassland, so sort of herding and grazing animals like oxen are noticeably nearby, and one or two give you a slight scare in the middle of the night. However, nothing too worrying. On the 4th day or so, however, as you're traveling along, trampling through the sort of, well, not trampling, carefully stepping through like the grass and some of the undergrowth, there are a few clusters of trees here and there. Eryn, I would like you to make a perception check, please.
Okay. So, because I have proficiency in perception, and I am on my favorite terrain, it says here your proficiency bonus is doubled for proficient skills when you make an intelligence or wisdom check. I can't remember which one persuasion is.
Perception is wisdom based, so yes, your perception is a +8 for this.
Oh, yes. Okay, so I'm just going to roll a d20 plus. Oh, God. A d20 plus. Wisdom is +2, +8, so +10.
No, it's +8 in total.
Oh, sorry.
So
Okay.
your perception is +5, so you because you're proficient in it, so that's just an additional proficiency bonus. So it's 5 plus 3, which is
Yeah.
therefore it's a
Sorry. Yeah. Okay, so 1d20 plus
8.
Okay.
All right. So as you're making your way forwards, it's probably approaching about midday. There's a faint smell of cooking broth sort of reaches your nose, and as you stop and sniff slightly and try and figure out where it's coming from, you notice it's at probably about 60, 70, maybe 80 feet, sort of slightly off to the left, appears to be a elven figure residing in a camp for one. There's a small tent, along with a campfire crackling. The tent's, sort of quite small, quite low to the ground, sort of dull, muted colours, looks a bit worn. But the elf sits upon a log, their eyes closed as if in meditation. A few creatures seem to have gathered near them. A couple of birds are building a nest on the end of the log, whilst a rabbit appears to be eating something, maybe a vegetable, lettuce or something, relatively near the pot, which is over the fire, probably the broth which you're smelling. The elf is dressed in relatively plain-colored clothes. Their top, fabric sort of loosely wrapped around their torso and then over their shoulders, leaving the arms exposed with loose cloth over their upper chest. Shoulder-length silver hair that seemingly floats ever so slightly, fluttering in a light wind, which is sort of around, floating a little bit more than it probably should. And upon their forearms, runes tattooed in black ink stand out against the tanned skin.
Hey guys, I think I see someone up. I'm gonna walk over to the figure. Or jog over, I suppose, if they're 80 feet.
Yeah. Well, what does everyone else do whilst Eryn starts heading towards them?
I go
Follow.
Eryn.
All right.
I suppose I follow behind them.
I'm
So-
gonna walk up and I'm gonna say,
As you
Megavan and
approach,
friend.
their eyes sort of flutter open, and they smile at you. Ah, right on time.
Excuse me?
What?
Eryn, isn't it? And with that, he sort of stands up. The bird sort of flutters off into a tree, and the rabbit just sort of looks around.
Eryn immediately tenses up. Do I know you?
Perhaps. And the rest. Princess Ray? Vincent? Where are my manners? And he sort of gives a slight bow. Eryn the Manlian Odell, the word carpenter. Princess Reiko Canlin of Highever. Vincent Laveria, fleet of foot and silver-tongued, and Poppy Glittergem, bearer of Kelanthala. I bid you greetings and salutation. Stands back up, straightens himself, and you notice that the eyes seem to shift slightly between the blue colour they are to have slight hints of gold and red in them.
He just doesn't know what to say.
Call me Thermidor.
Oh, okay. Thermidor. Can I ask how you know, well, almost know all of our names?
Kind of tilts his head slightly. I believe those are your names, are they not?
We don't have a poppy?
You said Poppy Glitter or something.
We don't.
Poppy Glittergem.
What was the name of the cat that died?
Maximilian.
Maximilian.
Oh no, I mean you know.
Sorry, what?
Get it, boys.
No. Nix. It's Nix.
That may be what you go by. Anyway.
Ooh,
What
I
did you
glare
mean?
suspiciously at Nix.
What did you mean just on time?
I was expecting you. You see, I have a request. That of a simple trade.
We're listening.
I know that you carry a hilt, one that has beckoned you towards. I would wish to have this hilt, and for it I offer you a fair trade. A completed dagger. And he pulls out a relatively seemingly crafted dagger. It's is a dagger, sort of sharp-pointed, small guard, and the hilt, the handle is sort of like black with a small lace of gold wrapping around it to the end. That is all.
Why do you think that's a fair trade?
Oh, I don't think I know.
Well, what's so special about your dagger?
The dagger is called Cas Uven. And like its maker, it messes with some things that probably shouldn't be tampered with. But, alas, mess away that they do.
For me to make that trade, you're going to have to be a lot more specific than that. I've held a lot of daggers in my time, and very few of them have spoken to me. I know that's got to be worth a lot.
Just because it talks doesn't make it valuable. It makes it dangerous.
You being here in the middle of the road wanting it from me makes it valuable.
He sort of glances around and goes, I see no road.
Is that all?
I would like that hilt.
I'm sure you would. But here's the thing. We have very questionable morals.
I
As a
know.
group, if you know our names, you know that about us. What's
That
to
I do.
stop me just taking that dagger from you and keeping the hilt I already have?
I welcome you to try.
Here's the thing. I feel like if you could take the dagger from me, you would.
Why would I do that?
So, you clearly want it. There's clearly a lot of power in this dagger, and you seem to think that you're a particularly fearsome opponent. So,
I am
here's the
merely
thing. If you
offering a
want,
fair trade.
look, anyone who would want this hilt is clearly not someone who is entirely focused on the virtuous.
Do you believe to be a good judge of character?
I believe to have met a lot of characters, and I think I've got pretty good at telling the good from the bad.
And so what do you think about me? What does that intuition tell you?
Insight check.
I would like,
Feel free to make an insight check.
I would like to insight check. 'Cause
Feel free to make insight
Mm,
check.
Yeah, you know. I get
Can I make an insight check on Nyx?
You
For
can make an
fuck's
insight
sake.
check on Nyx.
Natural 20.
Nyx seems to be incredibly confused by this whole thing.
Oh, what the fuck is
Just
going
because I don't really trust this guy, I'm also gonna make an insight check. I promise that's not metagaming.
on?
No, that's fine. What are you trying to? What are you guys trying to judge off of him?
How trustworthy he is for me, but it's not.
He he knows your names. He hasn't said how. He seems to know at least something about you guys. Your alarm bells are probably ringing. Ray, generally, Nyx is very confused by all of this. She seems just as taken aback by being addressed by a name which she doesn't appear to know as you are.
Interesting.
And Vincent is quite hard to read.
Well, here's the situation. Right now, there's no way you're going to get this hilt. So, how about we talk it over a bit? Tell me why it's so important to you, why you want it. And then maybe I'll consider giving it to you.
Yeah, you can start by telling us how you know us.
I know many things.
How much do you know about us?
Well, for you, let's see. Born and raised in a village on this very continent. Some squabbling happening with the humans, was it? A village burning down, misplaced blame, traveling, mistrust, being on your own. Finding a group of people accepting, several times. Merchant to mercenary, to standing before me. That enough for you? Your life could have gone very differently. But that is the one you want. As for the hilt, it was separated from its blade for a very good reason. I am not entirely sure how the blade ended up where it was. That seems clouded to me. However, I do know that it should not be remet with its hilt, and I merely request to go hide it somewhere much more secure. If anything, you're getting a much better deal out of this.
I mean, to me, that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. So you want to hide this blade because you're afraid of what happens when an object this powerful is recreated, and you are willing to, in your own words, trade me a much better dagger.
Do you know what you carry with you?
Not particularly, but I know there's something interesting about it.
Interesting indeed.
Starting to think it's far more interesting than I may have first believed.
Oh, most certainly.
Hang on, well, time out for a minute. Is this the one we were going to go to Breckenridge to get?
You are carrying the hilt of it. You would have gone to Brackenridge to get the blade.
Okay, I'm with you. Okay.
Nate, can I ask something?
Certainly.
In general, are elves fair people?
Oh God, is he pretty?
Fair in what matter of the word?
I meant fair as in law abiding, as in like when he says he's making a fair trade. Am I more
Elves?
likely to believe?
From what you know of elves, they are quite a free people. Descendants of the Feywild. To put it bluntly, they're essentially the Fey would be chaotic neutral. Elves have a tendency for chaotic good. It doesn't mean that they all are, but that's sort of like where humans are sort of neutral, dwarves are lawful good, elves are sort of like the chaotic good. So you got lawful good dwarves, neutral good humans, chaotic good elves. That's it's not what they all are, but that's sort of, like it's a stereotype based on truth.
Okay, I won't say anything. It's fine.
The thing is, I'm not particularly that interested in doing something just because it's the virtuous thing to do.
Hang on, Vincent.
That's why I offered the dagger.
Hang on, Vincent. This thing that we were chasing, we got whispers about it, and right now, this dagger in front of us, we have it here now. We can inspect it right now. We don't even know how good that other thing is.
We don't know how good the thing he's offering is. All we have to go on is the word of the man trying to trade it to us. It's hardly a reliable source of information.
Nate, what do you make against a persuasion check?
It would be insight.
Okay. Just for my own benefit, because I really don't know how to react to this situation.
You gonna make an insight?
Yeah, but like, a kind of. Oh wait, no, I don't. Can he roll a persuasion check against me?
Certainly.
Okay.
I didn't still fail.
That's
Wait,
an
why
plus
did I
9.
do? Okay.
He seems very sure of himself. He seems to believe that what he is saying is true and just, and that he seems to have an air about him of understanding that essentially it is going to end up the way he wants it to be.
I reckon we take it.
If you're so confident that the dagger you're going to trade me is a fair deal, then why not let me hold that dagger for a minute? See what I
He
think.
chucks it at you.
I catch it. Please don't make me roll an acrobatics.
No, you're able to grab it.
Okay, can I do like an investigation check on it or something to see it?
Make an Arcana check.
Oof. I don't know. Fuck all.
That's cruel.
It's well balanced, probably magical. As far as a normal blade goes, it's a well balanced dagger, well crafted. It might have some magic to it, might not.
Can I throw it to Nyx and ask for her opinion?
While that's going on,
Catch
can I?
it.
Sorry.
Yes, Nyx, you're able to catch it.
While that's going on, I take a step forward to the.
Certainly. He sort of crosses his arms, and as he does so, you notice the 4 tattoos, one essentially on each part of his arm.
They're runes, did you say?
They are.
I'm a little distracted at the moment.
Can we trust you not to reveal our personal information to others?
He sort of leans forward and goes, "Depends which others you're talking about." Nyx, well, you're sort of focusing or trying to focus on this dagger, but being called by a name which you don't know has really put your head in a spin, and you can't concentrate. You can't really even. Your mind feels clouded, foggy. You feel distracted. You're like not really even able to sort of focus on Weejas. You're somewhat disconnected, if that makes sense. You know, you're sort of like,
That
what,
feeling,
what,
hell yeah.
what? It's not like with the night tag. It's more like just, sort of
Moving
feeling
around.
of a presence of, like, wait, what? Wait, what's happening? Sort of thing.
It looks great. There you go. Give him back the
You
gun.
know, for someone who's trying to trade us something, you don't come across as particularly trustworthy.
I will try better next time.
Next time.
Who do you work for?
Myself.
I think he's alright. I turn away and kind of.
Well, that's a change in attitude.
So he knows your entire background, stuff you haven't even revealed to us yet, and you're okay with just trusting him.
Yeah, it's not like me, is it?
No, it's quite worrying.
Do you know the future? Or the future?
I know many futures.
Yeah.
Why? What is it you wish to ask? Best make the most of it.
I think you probably know what I wish to achieve.
Oh.
Can I do it? Do I do it?
The future is harder to read than the past. But I believe there are plenty of routes towards what you wish to achieve, many of which you are capable of following.
Right. That's good enough for me.
Alright, well, here's the thing. Where I'm from, it's pretty customary to get to know the person you're going to make a deal with, and you seem to know far too much about us already, so how about you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I have already told you my name.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna need slightly more than that. You seem
What
to know about
do you
our
wish
tribe.
to know?
First of all, what's wrong with your eyes? I know they're not normal.
Kind of blinks twice, and the elven eyes, after the second blink, they are now just looking like pools of molten gold, and he sort of tilts his head and goes, "Why, nothing." Blinks again, and they're back to normal.
Really? That's the one. That's the stance you're going to take on this?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Well, in that case, I've had a lovely time, but we really do need to be going. We've got a long journey ahead of us. We've already wasted far too much time talking.
Have you?
You claim to know a lot of things.
I claim very little.
Could you answer another question?
Certainly.
I turn back to the group. I would advise, like Nyx, you take advantage of this opportunity because I don't think we'll be getting it for a while. I turn back. Is
I can
she...
always wait.
Go on, sorry.
Saying that I can always wait. I'm in no rush.
Careful. Some of your paths end quickly.
Well, if that's the case, then I have no use for any dagger. So I wouldn't worry too much about that.
Theodore,
Yes?
is she alive? The one I'm looking for?
And with that, he sort of closes his eyes, and you notice the runes on his arm do glow slightly. His sort of hair flutters a bit before they open again and goes, I believe from where we are standing now. Do not take that to mean by the time you reach her, that she still will be.
He silently walks away.
I think he's taken a shining to me.
I'm impressed.
So, this deal? Yay? Nay? Do I need to try again?
I don't believe you've tried particularly hard at all. In fact, I think I'll hold on to the hilt. I'd rather like it.
Careful. That hilt leads you on a short path.
Yeah. Let's die while I'm young anyway. Leave a pretty corpse.
Really? In 25 days?
I only need about 24, I think.
Blunt force trauma? Massive internal hemorrhaging.
It's the way I've always wanted to go.
Bleeding to death from the inside.
Can I stab him?
You certainly can.
Cool, I stab him.
Vincent.
Roll damage.
Vincent.
Can I go to intercept?
Lois.
Tad spontaneous. Roll damage, Lewis.
Cool. I don't like being
I
threatened.
didn't
Can
even
that count
answer
as a...
my
It
question.
wasn't threatening.
I feel like that should count as a sneak attack.
Certainly.
Hit him with that 3d6.
Weren't you supposed to roll to hit?
No, he hit. Glances down at the rapier now protruding from his stomach and sighs. I really wish you hadn't have done that.
I'm starting to think the same thing.
I would like you all to please... I'm gonna need you guys to make some saving throws.
Oh god.
Why me? I thought he liked me.
I didn't want
Oh,
anything
he
to do with it.
does.
I didn't figure things out quick enough.
Say that again, Nate, sorry.
I said, oh, he does. But
Yeah,
I need you
okay,
all
that's
to make
good.
dexterity saving throws.
Oh, good. He must know it's my best trait.
Oh no, not one of mine.
Oh, yay.
Oh, damn, you actually got quite close.
Close. Close? What do you mean I got close?
Oh, I'm so
Didn't
happy.
even get to ask my question.
Yeah, exactly. Ray probably had a really good question.
She didn't mention it at the time. There's plenty of time to ask
Ask
questions.
him, don't worry, it'll be fine. We'll get out of
Yeah,
it.
we'll ask him after this stupid thing of Vincent.
All right. So as he says that and sort of looks up, he blinks, and there is just a torrent of incinerating flames. Unfortunately, none of you made the check.
Wait, you're fucking kidding.
Oh no. It comes from the left, by the way.
Reload save!
Such a surprise.
And as you feel scorching heat, you blink, and you find yourself about 60 feet from away from a camp. There's an elven stranger sat across a log. He appears to be meditating. As you stand there, somewhat stunned, he stands up and goes, "Ah, just on time.
Oh god, this is what hell's like. It's filled with elves.
Greetings and salutations, Ven."
Do we remember what just happened?
Yep.
I'm just standing there with my mouth open.
I whack Vincent over the head.
Feel free.
Can I, like, do that thing where you, like, slap him on the shoulder? Like a fucking hell, dude, you know?
Seemed like a good idea at the time.
Wait, what's
Yes,
my...
you'd be surprised how many times you think it is. Yes, I
can't
believe that
remember
does
how-
hit Sophie.
It's an unarmed strike, so that's 3 damage.
All right, Vincent, you get clobbered around the back of the head.
Shit. That was just completely... There we go.
I think that hits as well.
I slap him on the shoulder.
Say Nate.
Yeah, I think you might be beginning to get the idea.
Hell yeah. Okay. Not in on this. I'm not in on this at all. Nope.
So,
Right.
you happen to carry a hilt I have interest in. A certain one which beckons you to Baraka Ridge. I propose a simple trade for this magic dagger.
Yeah, so did the last guy.
Vincent,
And
just
the
take the
last
dagger.
you decided to stab me. How well did that turn out?
Usually people
I
react
apologize,
differently.
but some of my friends are a bit eager.
So,
Oh,
how many of you are there?
Only one.
In
This very moment, there is only one of you.
You know,
I mean,
Vincent,
can
you...
see.
Sorry. You know, Vincent, you really have a habit of drawing out interactions that were supposed to be like 5 minutes long.
I think it might be a wise idea to just trade him the dagger. I don't think
But
you'll get away with not doing it.
Also means you don't die.
I don't think we'll die full stop, but we will at the same time.
The other guy just gave him 25 days to live.
No,
That's
That
what if
was
that
a
was gonna happen?
possibility.
look, you clearly have
One he
seen.
clearly changed.
there are many futures.
You've seen apparently a lot of different futures. Realistically, is there anywhere I leave with the hilt?
There are a few. Probably about half. I am not going to stop you. I'm merely asking for a trade.
If you weren't going to stop me, then it
Why
can't be
did you
that
stab
important.
me?
Don't take it personally. I do it a lot.
I know.
Hmm.
It is important to me, but there are certain rules, and I am not going to make you hand it over to me. That does not mean that it is not going to leave my interest. There are things friends can do for me that...
Vincent?
Yes.
I think maybe a dagger from a divine being is probably worth a lot more than a creepy dagger that just randomly talks to you and tries to take over your body.
Well, you know what? Just so that
To
I
be
don't
fair-
have to embarrass you again.
They're essentially the same thing, but you know.
What?
Well, first, before I consider any of this, you have to answer Ray's question.
Certainly.
I wish I hadn't done that. No, I'll talk to him after.
I shall answer it after then.
I appreciate it.
You know what? I'm feeling particularly generous today.
I'm sure you
And
are.
in light of recent events, I'd like to reconsider my proposal. I will allow you to make me another offer.
Oh, God.
And what is it that you see?
Well, I mean, the dagger is all well and good, and I'll gladly take that as well. But this has been a very traumatic experience for me. You see, I'm not accustomed to
Me
dying.
too. I don't particularly like getting stabbed.
Wait, did we die?
Yes, we did.
Kind of.
Kind of.
Can I
Wasn't
hit him again?
That's one of the ways I died, and the other way I died.
Look, I would like to. I like the deal. I like the idea. I'm feeling the dagger. Very vogue. However, I would also like to point out that I've been dying a lot.
I haven't died.
It is a
yet.
very trying time for me. You seem to be able to bring people back, or at least bring them forward. Is there any way you could help me do that in the future?
Certainly. Points towards you, starts turning his finger slightly, and you feel a slight weight appear around your neck, and then something just drop onto your chest. And as you look down, you see you are now wearing a very stylish necklace with a holy symbol hanging off. Have a little faith.
I appreciate the gesture, and I will toss him the hilt.
Catches it, tosses you the dagger. Thank you.
Put it in my cup. Thank you. It's been genuinely very interesting.
I'm sure it has.
That's a real compliment coming from him.
Very few of the people I stab turn out to be half as interesting as you've been.
Oh, I know. And with that, he kind of turns to the rabbit and the birds, snaps his fingers, and you see the rabbit's form shift into that of a giant gold dragon, to which he hands the hilt. Meet your killer. Adios, friends. And with that, he just turns. and starts-
Wait, 1 second, wait.
Ah.
Before you go.
The question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No
Your
problem.
question, miss. The dragon does take off. Just
I would rather.
Right. Ray, do you
Not-
want us to like walk away?
Please.
Okay. Nate, when she's going, can I like try and keep an ear out what she's
No.
you can. Tell you what. Roll a perception check, Eryn.
and is that with my doubled double proficiency?
You are technically in your favored terrain. So, Ray, what do you ask?
Well, first off, just how much do you know about me exactly?
Probably more than you want me to. And first of all, let me just. And he just gently taps you, and you feel the slight mind fog, which was barring you from saying anything against deities, just disappear. That
Whoa.
felt a bit
That's
petty. Now, what is your question?
Thank you for that. I want to know. So you know, you said that you know the past and the future.
I
Does
can
that
read both.
does that also mean you know the present?
Indeed. The
I might
present
regret asking this.
is the easiest to read.
Is my family okay?
Kind of glances to the sky. Well, none are dead.
Oh
Two
my
are
god.
very far to the east. The third and fourth? Westward. Westward bound, still travelling. A long journey ahead of them. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, and I just have one more. Do they hate me?
I think that is best for you to talk. But don't dwell on it. I would not say hate. Concern, perhaps a bit of anger. Best worked out in talking.
Thank you. Sincerely, thank you.
Have a good trip.
I
And
feel a bit lighter.
he just starts walking off. The two birds sort of follow, tweeting.
Cool. I go to join my group.
Oh, shit.
So did I hear any of that?
You heard the question, you did not hear the response.
Okay.
Well, that's a story to tell next time we're in a tavern.
Was that holy symbol around his neck? That is.
That of Akatosh.
Eryn,
Vincent,
I was
Vincent, got you just got a holy symbol from a god himself. You just straight up gave it. What?
You think he was a god?
Yes, he was definitely most a god.
Damn, I was about to say elves are really cool.
Yeah, but
At the end of the day, Nix, my life is legendary and I do legendary shit.
I hate you, Vincent.
You are fortunate enough to get to bask in it from time to time. If you stand close enough, some of the great fortune that rains down upon me might splash off and accidentally land on you.
I think I'll stick to my own god. Thank you.
Well, how many years have you been a holy person?
5, maybe.
You met any gods yet?
Yes.
Took me about 15 minutes. Didn't seem that difficult. Maybe I'll consider a career path change when I'm done with all this adventuring.
Glad you're turning over a new leaf, I guess. Like, I mean, he's one of the few gods that is vaguely known to wander around, because not many of them can safely come to this plane, but Jesus.
Nix, who is Akatosh?
He's the god of dragons, of time. That's probably how all that happened.
Wow.
And probably, I mean, that's where the dragons get. Well, not all dragons, I should say. He's not particularly fond of the chromatics, for obvious reasons.
Asterix, it's complicated.
Yeah. Oh, and giants as well. Forgot. I wonder what Arthas thinks of him.
We just talked to a god.
You know what? I quite like him.
Hey, Nix does it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's just rare for them to talk back.
I've had a few. I don't talk back, kind of. And Ayun's
Oh,
spoken
yeah.
to me too.
Yes, Ayun has spoken to you.
Yeah. Ayun's cool. Wow. That was...
Ray, you look a lot better.
I feel a bit better.
Yeah, so do I.
It's quite interesting meeting a god. Nothing like the dull people who worship them.
Thanks,
Do you
Vincent.
know?
But you...
Do you know?
Hmm.
Do you know what the best thing about him was?
That he was elven?
Yeah.
Sure. Well,
I mean,
go with
I'm
that.
sure he's not elven all the time.
No, but he chose the elven form. I think that's saying something.
That or he was just trying to appeal to the person who was on watch at the time.
It's midday.
I think the real truth is that elves physically are the most appealing race to take the form of.
Well, he didn't offer to help you come back from the dead, did he?
My god,
I
who
didn't
did that?
ask.
Wait. My god is the goddess of death.
Can I just say, this
Wait,
is
was
a
that a
side.
question to me or them?
Well, me going like, the fuck? That was Nyx. Being like, the fuck, Vincent?
Oh, right, sorry.
My goddess.
Can I just say,
Goddess of death.
as an aside, I think it's so adorable that Nyx is like, but my god's better.
It just is better. But like, Akatosh is pretty damn cool.
Don't get me wrong.
Like,
We're just cool. Anyway.
she's pretty close to the material plane, but she doesn't have dragons to protect her. I mean, as you saw, that's still fucking powerful in the material plane, but...
Nate, those runes, could I understand them?
Do you speak giant?
Nope.
No, you could not.
Was so hoping they were Elvish. But that wouldn't make sense. Well, onward.
Yes, we... Oh, wait. You wanna look at that dagger? Try it out.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, sure. I mean, I'm a lot more interested in it now that it was given to me by a god. I'm sort of blessed, aren't I? I always knew there was something going on.
Stab me.
What?
Hello.
Just try stabbing me. You won't pierce through my armor. I just want to see if it does anything.
Okay, I flipped the dagger in my hands and thrust it at her stomach.
His stomach.
Sorry, I get confused because you look so much like a girl.
Well, it's a dagger. It requires attunement.
Ow.
What did you think was gonna happen?
Well, I
Which was
mean,
it?
my AC is quite high.
Does it count as a snake attack? Can I roll my 3d6?
I think he's somewhat expecting it.
Okay, I'll allow it.
He cries out girlishly.
To be fair, I think you can get away with that. I think if someone stabs you in the stomach, you
Ah!
can't be like, what a bitch, screamed.
That really hurt.
Take your 5 points of healings and shut up.
Thank you, Nyx.
Kidding.
So hang on, that was 9 points minus 5, so I've lost 4 points. Okay.
Yep.
So I'm at
See-
34.
I don't think that was particularly warranted.
Do I feel
you could
anything?
ask me to stab him.
Yeah, okay, fine. I thought my armor was better than. Do I feel anything interesting?
No.
Do I feel anything interesting?
You need to spend a bit of time with the dagger, which doesn't
I was
include
gonna say, you
stabbing
usually have
people.
to attune to magical item.
Vincent, I'm really
don't-
sorry
you
to
don't
tell you,
have-
but
You
I
don't
think
have to
you just got
attune
ripped
to
off.
it to learn what it does. You just need to spend a bit of time with it to figure it out, especially because no one knows the identify spell.
Well, I can't learn it.
Well, how...
No, I can't.
I can.
We'll figure out what it
Ooh.
does.
I think you just got
Oh.
ripped off. Big time. Nah, I'm kidding.
Well, I mean,
There's
it
probably
seemed to
something
work on you
interesting
pretty
about-
well.
Yeah, ow.
Would you like another cure wounds?
I'll be okay, don't worry.
Okay. You sure? You're still bleeding a little bit.
No, it's fine. It's fine. As the patch of blood expands.
It's just a fake little squirt of blood out the stomach, and just like the stain on his armor is slowly growing.
It's fine.
I'm sure that's healthy. Well, guys, how was your first encounter with God? Lay God. Have fun? Reconsider your feelings about it?
Particularly eye-opening.
Oh, yay. That's nice.
I'll consider stabbing more in the future.
Please don't. Not all of them are that forgiving. I think we just would take your head off, honestly. I don't actually remember if
No, maybe Akatosh would stop him.
her.
Her.
To be...
Let's see.
Is that good?
I
We
think-
just as ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
Jazz has
Pardon?
a bit more control over life and death, but maybe. Well,
Well, by the sounds of it, we just can't control life or death. I mean, zombies exist, vampires exist.
it's complicated.
Akatosh controls time. That's impressive.
There's probably some time benders around.
I hope not.
That would be cool. Anyway,
So, now that that's out of the way, I suppose we carry on.
I'm not so sure.
no.
The question I asked him was if my family was still alive, and he said that they've all left Higher, which can only really mean one thing: my home has fallen. They wouldn't leave otherwise.
Sorry, Ray.
Hey, I'm just relieved that they're alive. You have no idea the weight that's just been lifted.
That's good to hear.
I'm glad.
But it does mean our travels don't really have a destination.
Well,
We could always go to Drakenmouth anyway.
I'm still
we have our dragon to talk to, remember?
We also have that.
And after that most recent encounter, I'm a lot more intrigued to meet this dragon than I once was. If it really is a dragon, I can...
We can't fight a dragon.
Yeah, we just got
It's not. It's probably not a dragon.
It's almost certainly not a dragon. And even if it is a dragon, that intrigues me more than ever now. It seems me and the dragons have something in common, being favoured by Akatosh and all.
It's a bit more complicated. Than that.
Vincent's done a dual class now.
I suggest.
Half dragon!
Why don't you ask your god if it is actually a dragon down south, or if it's a wyvern or a worm? Actually, that'd be pretty scary if it is a worm.
We've just met. I don't want to come across as
I'll
needy.
take a worm over a dragon.
I mean, gods of people.
A worm
pray
with
to
a
them
Y.
all the time, you'll be
No, I
fine.
just wanted to say that sentence.
Fair enough. I suggest.
It can certainly be arranged.
Mm.
What? Who was that? And swat in my head.
The fly just.
I suggest, because we're so close by to it, we head over to Drakenmouth, and then afterwards we make our way to Mythwich.
What do you want to look for in Drakenmouth?
Well, I reckon, Nyx might have some business there.
You guys can do what you want. I'm still going back there. Yeah, because it's safer to travel in groups, especially when one of us can heal people.
I still want to try and find my family.
Hopefully we can. As you may have heard, I've got someone I'm looking for too.
I know that one of them was heading to Retlam. That's the only lead I have so far.
Retlam?
Mm-hmm.
Very far away.
Right.
But we've already got ties there. After all, we are the Misguard.
We do.
And you were technically invited there if you could get there.
Well, so we have three options. We either go back to Mythwich and figure out what's going on with this dragon, or we go to Drakenmouth, or we go to...
Is anyone forgetting that we heard about Mythwich through a very drunk man in a bar, seemingly been told 1,000 times?
Listen.
That's exactly why I wanted to go there in the first place. Sounds like there's some easy money to be made.
That is exactly my point that I was going to make.
I'm very aware of the fact that our gold income has slowed considerably.
Speak for yourself.
I mean, you may have money and you may not spend it, but that doesn't mean you're making more.
I'm comfortable.
Give in to the greed, Ray.
I don't really have much.
Give in to your human side.
She's already.
I hate to be a downer, but I kind of maybe I sound a bit like a broken guitar. I don't know. A broken lute right now.
A broken bard.
A broken bard. But I feel like maybe my family should come first before this drunken rumor of a dragon, which would likely kill us in one attack.
Who said we were going to fight it? But I suppose we can take a diversion to go and see your family. Make sure they're safe.
Well,
ask for a reward for returning their only daughter.
True.
Well, you guys don't have to come. You can investigate your dragon and your, I don't know, whatever the hell Nyx is doing.
Well, I would suggest we at least escort Nyx home.
Yeah, I mean, I'm heading north anyway, so.
Sure thing. If Nyx is leaving, we'll have to find someone else who can heal us.
Luck with that. You're the Rutland.
I can buy potions.
Oh, you'll actually spend your money on them.
Can I hit Nyx?
Only if I'm allowed to hit her back.
You can try.
Can no one hit anyone because it's petulant? We don't need that kind of distraction.
Alright, I'll just glare then.
There's a glare off.
Right, come on. If we're off, we might as well be off.
No, Nyx, there was a time when I trusted you more than these other two.
There was a time where
I don't know what happened.
I
quit.
Yeah, look, I tried to stop myself because you were fucking talking.
Well, I guess we're both disappointed then.
Incredibly so.
You finished? Have you had your little spat?
Homeward bound sounds good.
Sure thing, Poppy.
That's gross.
Lead the way.
No.
I'll lead the way.
All right, and so Eryn takes the lead once again. And well, if you don't mind, I think we might call that a session.
Sounds
Partly
good.
because there's some planning ahead which is required.
Good luck.
We did the god
Good.
encounter.
Yeah.
Woo!
Could I?
What's you want?
Nah, it's okay. It's okay.
No, do
What are
it.
you gonna ask?
Yeah, go
I was
for
just gonna ask. I wanted to talk to Ray. Like maybe say we're like camping. Maybe we could leave it until next session.
No, feel
it. 2.5
free.
hours in, so.
Yeah.
Cool.
I was gonna say if there's some interactions you want to do, feel free. But
I'm just so
there's
sad.
a limited amount more which I can deliver, partly because I have fully planned and I don't want to completely bullshit it.
Okay.
But it's a somewhat nice stopping point. So
Yeah. So yeah, like when people are going to sleep, say, I just wanted to maybe say Ray's taking the watch or something. Just wanted to join her.
certainly.
Yeah.
Hey, I just wanted to talk to you about something. A few things actually. The first
ahead.
thing is I'm really happy that your family is okay. So I don't know, congratulations is the wrong word, but
I appreciate the sentiment.
the second thing is how do you feel about Nick's leaving?
I mean, to be completely honest, I don't have a problem with her leaving. It might sound mean, but I feel like she's not someone who can be trusted. The encounter with the god was proof of that.
Okay.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm probably still alive because of her. But I have a feeling there's an ulterior motive.
I think in our party we all have our roles that we fulfill. So that's fine. But I don't know. I get where you're coming from. But I just wanted to say, maybe there are things about people's past that they just don't want to talk. And I think we should respect her privacy.
I've
think
always respected her privacy.
the fact that she may not be telling us stuff, in my opinion, doesn't make her untrustworthy. I didn't come out here to argue with you. I just wanted to talk about it.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's her decision, right? If she wants to stay in Drakenmouth, I'm not going to stop her.
Ray, I don't want her to leave.
I'm convinced her to stay. It's all the same to me. I'll just be keeping an eye on her, that's all.
Okay. And if you do go to Retlam, I would like to come with you.
Yeah? What are you looking to find in Retlam?
Well, it's not really that I hope to find anything. It's just, I'm just going where the wind takes me. And, The more places I get to see, the better, to be honest.
I'd be very grateful for the company.
Of course, it's fine. I know my prowess is sorely missed when I'm not there on the battlefield.
Yeah.
Did you hear what Vincent said?
What?
You're saying I missed every shot.
Oh, Eryn.
Twat.
Yeah. But you also, have you forgotten that I could probably count on my hands the amount of times he's hit anything?
Him or me?
He's not exactly very, well coordinated, let's say.
That's true.
He had to sit out one entire battle because he couldn't hit anything. He went outside to sit next to another guard who had given up.
I forgot about that. That's true.
So don't worry so much about the story.
Okay,
Especially not if it's coming from Vincent.
cool. I just wanted to level with you 1-to-1. Elven blood to somewhat elven.
I'll take somewhat.
Yeah. So cool. Good night.
Night.
Bye.
Bye.
Sorry.
And as the awkward goodbye commences, a fade to black.
I'm not gonna be ready for next week. Anyway.
Aww.
Dude, we met a god.
Guys met the god.
We got some cool dagger or something.
Right, I should actually give that dagger. I will tell you what it does. So, as he said, it is called Cas Uven, or Time's Enemy.
Oh, that's
Which-
cool.
It has 5 charges, regains 1d4 charges each dawn. 2 charges, you can expend 2 charges to convert a bonus action into an action. 3 charges, as a reaction, you can cause a creature who just attacked and hit to re-roll the attack at disadvantage. So they have to roll twice more. But they must be within 20 feet and within line of sight. Or you can use 5 charges after you've made a successful attack, and the next attack against that target is an automatic critical.
Wow.
Ooh, what?
That's pretty sick.
Really good.
I'll add that to your sheet later. Partly because I haven't put it into D&D Beyond yet, but it is on this sheet.
Oh man.
First step to Vincent dual wielding.
I still love that you just stabbed her god. It makes me so happy.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Oh dear.
In my defense, at the time, I didn't know it was a god.
That's what I counted on.
Yeah, thank God you didn't make us, fight him. Also, what did you have to pass
24.
to not be...
That's an ancient gold dragon for you.
Wow. Oh, that's fair, yeah.
Oh man, we got incinerated. That was so much damage.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god.
Although its damage roll was actually quite high above average. The average is about 71.
Okay.
So assuming average roll and
Double my HP.
an average roll of, if we take 70, so assuming what were your so assuming Eryn, because Eryn could have made it with what, a 16 or higher? No. 17 or higher.
Yeah, it's +7 to my dex save, I think.
So
yeah.
Eryn, theoretically, there was a chance of you living.
Tiny chance.
There was a
Then
chance.
what would have happened if Eryn lived and we all died? Would we have gone back in time and Eryn carry on?
No, he would have essentially said something along the lines, we'll talk again, and then would have essentially just killed him.
Oh, that's dark.
But I was his favorite.
Act off as neutral good.
Probably still are, you know.
I was going to say, he made the joke that you were that you made a U-turn on your opinion of him purely because he was joking on the fact that you didn't like the gods.
Oh, I thought it was because I'm generally quite a distrusting person.
That too, but it was more a
Yeah.
joke on the fact that you don't like the gods and you are suddenly being very trusting of him.
Yeah, fair.
I'm now allowed to not like the gods, but I think I've been changed by this whole experience.
So, Nyx is so mad at that.
Nyx is just fuming.
Like, oh great, okay, so you have me in the party for months. You know, uses my god powers to heal you back. And you guys meet an actual god, and oh, whoop-de-doo, suddenly we love the gods. Great. Fucking great.
Listen,
I feel like she's just mumbling this the entire time while she's walking through, while she's just walking along behind.
Stupid companions, stupid Akadosh, stupid.
Akadosh is
Gods.
fucking cool. Weejas is better, you know, Weejas has been saving your
You
asses.
just better, stupid companions. Don't appreciate the gods until they see Akadosh. Stupid. Just like kicking the floor, like.
Little tufts of dirt and grass.
Oh, Eryn, you know what? When we go to Retla, we might be able to ride wyverns.
And not be carried underneath them?
Yeah, that's.
Wait, are we in RP mode?
We can be. Do you want to learn to ride a wyvern?
Listen, I'm not so keen on heights. As long as I'm in a tree, I'm fine. But on a dragon, on an airship. Wait, we need an airship to get to Retlam.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's a long ship flight to Retlam.
Well, my plan so far is to go to Neverwinter and then figure out what to do from there.
You don't need to fly the entire way.
We don't need to fly the entire way, guys.
You can swim part of it.
Believe me.
Well, it's almost like they're
know
these weird magical things that go through the water.
I can walk on water, so I can technically just travel.
This is true.
the
You
entire
can just
way.
walk there.
I'll just walk to
I was
Retlam.
coming with you guys. I could cast water walking, but oh, what a shame.
Abby, can I ask for some spoilers here, if that's okay?
Yeah, sure.
Is Nyx actually genuinely leaving, or are we not allowed to know?
Yeah, she genuinely thinks it's best if she stays behind.
Abby's got 10 billion characters lined up though, so I wouldn't worry too much.
No, I love Nyx to fucking pieces.
That's why she's leaving her in a place where she can't die.
Oh, that's so smart.
Yeah, Nyx's not allowed to die. She has things to do with her life, even though she was so ready to give her life for all of you guys.
Probably means though that we'll probably see Nyx in the future at some point.
If you guys stop into Drakenhouse or Nyx goes wandering, which is highly likely.
She's a bit of a wanderer.
She is quite the wanderer. Now that she has the freedom and the power to wander.
I'm not good with goodbyes. And I don't think Eryn is either.
She's not gonna be dead.
It doesn't matter.
She just needs to think through some things. Realise that what she thinks isn't always what everyone else thinks. Just because she's willing to give up her life doesn't mean everyone else is willing to give up theirs. It's like, oh, okay. Right. Plus, also, Ray most definitely does not trust her now, which is awkward.
Yeah, that's very true.
It was very awkward.
Nyx decided to be sassy.
Of course she did. She wasn't just gonna sit around and take your shit.
I didn't dish out much shit.
Sure.
And Eryn was just starting to maybe like two gods,
I was so proud of him. I was like, see? I mean, like, I don't expect you guys to worship the gods. It's, the kind of everything to me. But it's fine. You can talk shit about them, I guess.
Huh. So sad.
Too bad, so sad.
But like, would anything convince her to stay?
I'm very impressed you convinced her to stick with you rather than she just going straight home from Fork without you guys. Because that was
Are we that bad? Are we that
bad? She likes Eryn. She's just...
Okay.
There's a conflict of interests.
Yeah. And one interest... Well... Just subtly thinking maybe I should just take care of myself a bit more in my own interests. She kind of abandons the whole reason she even left Drakenouth, just to try and keep you guys alive, and is now thinking twice about that decision.
Let's cry.
Well, we'll find out next week if you're able to convince Nyx to stay.
We shall see.
Or if you
Okay.
meet the new characters. Well, I mean, you'll meet new characters anyway. If you meet the new player character.
Wow. See how quickly
I was
Nyx-
drawing fan art of our group,
Nyx
and now it's not even gonna be relevant.
I'm still keeping fan art of the character that died last week in our Thursday session. It's fine.
Yikes. Wait, who died?
Lucian.
I don't know who that is.
That's Odd's character.
Lucian.
Odd's
That's a
playing
cool
now?
name.
He was, and now he's not again.
No, he's
Oh.
not.
Oh, was the death on purpose?
No, there was a narrative way out.
I was
Oh,
controlling him.
Abby!
I didn't do anything.
You've done this before! You should never be in charge of anyone else's character.
I was doing so good at keeping him alive. I was doing so
Yeah,
good.
to be fair, it was one failed death saving throw against a undead beholder, and it was the disintegrate ray, and it was a failure of a death saving throw. It took him below 0, so he was just dust.
Sophie, I was telling them about oh my god. Oh, this is so embarrassing. I was telling them about the zombie beholder that we played against. Do you remember?
We've bucked it up.
We did, yeah.
We did.
I mean, they weren't just fighting a zombie beholder.
Yeah, this was like solo zombie beholder, luckily.
We had a
What level were your
tapping
characters?
up too.
5.
Oh, okay, so
Oh, we were fine.
how many characters were there?
1,
Five.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It was you, Sophie, me, Joe, and the other 2.
The weird, dragon guy who's obsessed with his character, and
The nice monk.
yeah, he was a monk, that's right.
Joe was also a monk.
And Abby, now you understand why I have to use monsters which are well beyond what the monster manual sometimes suggests throwing against you guys.
Yeah, I think if it just been the zombie beholder, we would have fucked it up really easily.
Yeah, it would have been.
Bloody mage.
Oh yeah.
Oh, what was his name?
The mage got his vengeance.
He did. We did charm him. And we're level 2.
Your great friend. Your
Our
great friend
best
indeed.
friend.
Yeah. When you get parties above the size of 4, the challenge rating begins to fall down slightly, especially due to the fact there aren't any legendary action monsters. So you kind of have to bolster it with other characters. If it was a fight to the death, there would have been 1 or 2 more player character deaths, but they would have been able to kill everyone in my combat scenario. It would have just been a lot more challenging than stun locking a beholder.
Because that mage guy just ran over it. Coward.
He learns from the best.
Not us.
Yeah, not you guys. He learns from the people alive.
We were gonna run from that fight. Oh, but then we realised we couldn't.
Yeah, that was quite funny.
We were trapped in a room with them.
Right, well, I hope you guys enjoyed, even if it was a slightly shorter session.
Yes, thank
There was a
Yeah, it
lot
was
of
really
nice. There was a lot of nice role playing moments, so that was.
Yeah. Nice change from the massive fight that was last week. Oof.
Yeah, that was a good fight though. I really enjoyed.
Fight.
Slow down in pace.
That was a
It's nice to have a bit of a balance.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
Yes, it was
Alright, I'm
fun.
gonna go have a shower.
Bye.
Thanks for everything, Nick. It was really fun.
No worries, I
See
will
ya.
catch you next week. See you guys.
And Abby,
Mm.
we're good, right?
Oh yeah, we're
We're
good.
good.
We're good.
Still my
Sophie and
best.
Abby are good. Nick's
Still
and
my
Ray
best
are
friend.
not.
Nix and Ray are not.
Yeah, no, I hate Nyx. Nyx can go die in a hole. But Abby, we're still good,
We're
right?
still good. Of course, we're still good.
Yay!
Ray can rot.
Alright.
We're still good.
Nyx sucks. Bye.
Bye.